Hello dear viewer, I'm leesusss and welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival Creative Mode. I'm in this large open dark space because I'm finally going to have to do it. I'm going to have to build a capital vessel. I've been putting this off for so long, and you might well have been very amused by this, the fact that I've been pausing so long over this and like fretting about it and not starting it, and it's a big job. It's a big job is what it is, and I've been putting it off because it gives my answer. It gives me anxiety, quite frankly. I've never successfully honestly, I've never successfully completed a capital vessel. Okay, and I don't really know why, but I think it's just such a big piece of work that I've never been happy enough with with what I've made. But we're going to have to do it now. See, I'm recording and everything, so now I'll have to explain myself if I can't do it now. I can't fly around. I literally can't fly around the rest of the universe or galaxy at least, in what I've built so far. The drive is not powerful enough. Okay, I need a light year capable drive, and that means a capital vessel. So there we go. The other thing is about the design. So I have laid awake or gone walking with the dog and considered and thrown out so many ideas about this thing for so long that it's kind of ridiculous. But I just have. There's so many things to balance in this, and maybe I'm overthinking it. Possibly I am, but I want to do a reasonable job of this, and there's a lot of factors to build it. Now, the design I've come up with is, I think I'm okay with now. I'm okay with my brain now. I was originally at one point going to build a smaller version and then like a really basic CV and then build up. But I think I'm just going to go for it and have one that I can adapt a bit later, but will at least be a reasonable build. I'm not skimping on things too much here. I'm trousers off, balls out, going for it. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of here, and we'll have to see how we deal with the resources from here. I won't be able to put anything too dramatic in terms of some of the resources, because there's a limit to what I've got available at the moment. In the survival game, I can't afford some of the biggest, fanciest engines, but I'm hoping I'll still be able to build something that will be manageable. Yeah, and when it comes to building it in the game, but not be too. I've not gone too minimalistic on this. Right then. I've also borrowed the design slightly from something else that already exists within the library. I'm not copying it that close, but I'm copying part of the idea, which I think works pretty well. Because what maketh a man? What is a CV? It's a flying base. Yeah, and of course you have to answer what something is properly before you actually build it, because that's the only way to do a good job at doing that in the first place. So it's a base, and therefore will contain all the things that a base would contain, about all the constructive the items for constructing things, like the food processor and the constructors, and it will have storage for all those items in there as well, and healing kits and all the rest of it. Okay, very, very similar to a base, but also it's a hangar. It's a carrier. You're not going to build a new CV, a new HV rather, a new SV every time you go somewhere. You're going to have to take at least one of those with you. Maybe one if you don't like HVs. Maybe you'll only take small vehicles with you. But the point is, you have to have one or more. You have to take it with you, and the capital vessel will allow you to do that. But you need to be able to put it in there in some way. So I've thought about various things, about different ways of making hangars to travel to take my precious creations with me. But in fact, in the end, I think I'll come up with a different way of doing it, again based upon an existing design within a capital vessel design within there that I've seen before. Anyway, let us produce two things, which is we need a Mark II Beetle, a sub Mark II rather, not a Beetle. Well, I got Beetle from, I saw Grub probably, and that made my brain do something funny. And we're going to put that here. Looks pretty small in comparison, doesn't it, really? Yeah. The smaller size blocks. You can see the size of a block here versus this. I mean, in this, it's only like, despite the sticky out bits, like the extra piece here, it's 1, 2, it's 2.5 blocks wide, isn't it, compared to this? Yeah. Looks like you could carry this pretty easily. But we also need to put a hawk on here as well. So let's get a hawk in here as well. That's a small vessel. Not a hawk. We might take a hawk with as well. We need a woodpecker. Let's put that about there. Okay. Is that sunk into the ground? Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh no, what do I do now? Can I fly this thing away? Or should we just leave it here? Oh no. I didn't mean to do that. I'm stuck in the ground. Can I undo this? I might be able to undo it. No, I'm only undoing the building. Never mind, we'll deal with this later. We'll do. Give me a second to fix this monstrosity. There you go. What were you worried about? I fixed it. It's going so well to start with. Okay. So imagine that we're then carrying. We've got space on the deck of this this capital vessel to carry these vehicles. Hold on a second. We need a bit more space here. One with the symmetry's not quite working here. I think yes, it is. There we go. That's fine from there. So if we imagine a space over here, how much space do we really need? Let's say that we're thinking of the future, yeah? Let's say that we can't easily change certain things in this vessel. Let's say we've got enough room here to park these vehicles, even if maybe they get a bit bigger in the future. Yeah? Like that. And then the walls like that, okay? So you can imagine a situation where we're on the ship and we come out of our capital vessel and we get into our vehicle and then we fly away, yeah, or we drive it off, or maybe we've landed it on the surface. And that's the idea. That's the carrier aspect of this, yeah. So this is, we're going to have a space in the middle. Maybe it won't be as wide as this, but we're going to have a space through here which is going to be just a deck for the ships to sit on. Okay. Next step from here is doors. We're then going to have two areas. We're going to have, again, I'm not necessarily sticking with these doors. We might change them later. We go for a wider one. That's a corner. No, I don't want a corner. There we go. One over there. And one over here, like this. Okay. So we've got the aft of the ship. No, that's the forward, I think, and that's the aft. Do you like me using the technical terms, by the way, the nautical terms? That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to. I'm probably not getting them right at all. We've got aft and you've got bow and stern and aft and forward and things like that as well. I think this is missing the arrow over here. So I think this is we're missing the little marker here. We're have to replace some of these blocks. I think we're. I think this way is to the front. Hold on. The pointy end. That way, yeah. We'll find out when I finally make this thing fly off. Okay, so we've got the things from there. Okay, from there. Then we want, I want some elevators. Because this is not usually how I build these vehicles. Usually I build the outside first. I'm sort of building the bits on the inside as I go, which is a little weird for me, but we'll work with it. Yeah, not that high. There we go, like that. Okay, and back here we need to have various things. Oh, don't give too much information away, will you? Me. We need to have storage, don't we? Let's go wide for now. Like this. This is probably wider than we need. Imagine this is going to be a storage area back here, yeah? Because we need to deliver everything, take everything from our base. A lot of the materials in our base right now we need to go into making this. But then we need to deliver a lot of materials and take them with us as well. Okay. And while we're here, fuel tanks, there we go. Put a couple of these in here. And what I'm thinking about here is weight. This is it's also been making me pause for a long time. Okay, so to give you an example, right? Let's have a look at the capital vessel right now. Right now, it weighs 605 tons, except it doesn't really, because what it weighs its own weight, plus it has the weight of the woodpecker joined onto it. I don't think this is actually joined on yet, but this should be joined on as well. It'll be the weight of the sub on there as well, plus the weight of the, all the parts that make the ship, plus the things you load in there, and that would include the stuff we want to take with us, the things we're going to put in container controllers. And I can tell you right now, I've got at least, I think it's about 300 tons of material in the base right now. That's over there. Yeah, wherever that base is, somewhere behind that lot. So I've got to put that in here as well. But we know from vehicles playing around with the sub and things like that in the past that balance is important. I've done these before when I've loaded this sub so much it was dragging along the floor and hardly moving. And centre of mass is very important. I mean, right now, it's best to do with the debug actually. That will show us more clearly. Centre of mass is here. It's off the centre because we're building more of things at this end, but it will continue to move in that way. It will continue to shift like that in a particular direction. And as I put the engine and stuff on the back, actually I'm building this the wrong way around. Let me just change something. Yeah, we'll edit that out. No one will ever notice. Yeah, I should change these around. I've got this image in my mind of how I want to build the ship, and in that image, this one is here towards this is the front. This vehicle is parked towards the front. This one's parked towards the back. I know that's silly. It's just how my brain works. This is the back of the ship. That's the bloody arrow. Right. This is the back of the ship. Say that I put the storage here. However I do it, yeah. 300 tons is now at the back and pushing the back. And the thing is, you could say, well, okay, you can test that. That's what the whole point of doing this in this creative world is for. You can test it and then play around and see how it behaves. But you can't really. There's a problem with created unless there's fixed it and I'm not aware, which is that, of course, I'm carrying a ridiculous amount of volume compared to the actual maximum I can carry in my inventory, because that's ignored in creative. And if I go into creative and I then change the rules so that volume and weight is recognised, it still doesn't actually happen in creative. Weight and mass still don't count in creative. So I can put a lot of blocks in here and say, okay, I've put 1,000 tons of weight in here, that will affect my ship. It won't. It will only affect it actually in survival mode. So we're a little bit sucking it and seeing it here, because we don't actually know how weight's going to perform. So I could, if I put too much weight in the back off of centre, and the engines are going back here as well, it might be the ship will have problems later. We'll have to tweak things around. We're going to have to deal with that as we go. Okay, there's nothing we can do much about that right now. It's just a little bit how it is. Okay, so I thought for a long time about how to manage that, and maybe like hiding the centre of mass somewhere and putting the vehicles in the centre of mass at the storage in the middle. I mean, you can repaint these as anything. I could make this middle line of blocks here underneath the landing pad storage, and then repaint them. You'd never know. Yeah, because the controller, as long as the controller is connected, it doesn't actually care where most of the storage is. You could put the controller block here, and then the containers actually underneath here, and then you do it. But I don't want to do that. Although it would make more sense for keeping everything centre of mass of the construction, it upsets my aesthetics. We're going to have an end that is going to be heavy on the ship. This is how it is. You've got that on your car. All the engines in the front. You have to balance that as part of the construction. So we are going to have a storage area back here is what I'm coming to. And we'll have to just manage, how the weight, maybe have bigger lift thrusters on the back or something like that, which is what we're going to do. We're going to deal with it. I'm not going to be trying to be too precious about, being super perfect with the design of the ship when it comes to things like central mass. We are going to be trying be better at the aesthetics is what we would like to do. Okay, so what I would like to have here, this here will be storage and manufacturing, engineering, whatever you want to call it, back here. I'll have the fuel tanks in here, I think, and I'm thinking of maybe having oxygen tanks at this end, and therefore we're going to distribute. We're not going to try and stack it all together in one place. We're going to try and distribute the weight a little bit more. Let's go for a bigger. This is going to have. I need bigger O2 tanks is what I need. I think I will go for that. I don't think I'll go too small. Yeah, there's no point going these little piddly ones. We can afford this. We can put some of these in. Yeah, like that. We might put some more in when we see the total storage area, but that's what we'll do for now. And I've got a question about, again, I don't want to change these spaces too much in the future. How, if I say that I have in the future, I have a, we're using large constructors right now. In the, oops, what did I do there? There we go. We're using large constructors in the current base, but there's even bigger versions, there's advanced versions on here as well. If we ever upgrade it to an advanced constructor, how much room does that take up? Versus a, we don't need two of them. Let's take the symmetry plane off. That's an advanced. Where's the large constructor? I think it's about the same size. Yeah, they're the same, aren't they? Basically, I think. No, that's not. I put the wrong one in. Yeah, they're the same size. This is pretty heavier. Okay, so we've got room to do that back here. We don't have to worry about that too much. If I keep this room this size, we can do that. Let's take out the advanced one for now. Get rid of that. Okay, just stuffing it in here for now, as far as that goes. And then if we come through to here, then we have actual engine room back here. Yeah, so most of the storage will be in here. It won't necessarily be, I would rather have it as, you know how you have on bases containers and things lying around and pallets. I will do some of that in here, but the actual storage will be in containers like this, probably buried in the walls or other things like that, but not so visible. But we'll have pallets and things like that around here to make this look like a storage room as you come through. Let's take God mode off. We can come in here and we can see like, there's a constructor, there's a lot of pallets and bits and pieces like that. We come back here, and then this is where the actual engines will be, or rather not the engines but the generators. For that we need certain key things. This needs to have large generators. I've gone for the T1 large, but that should hopefully be enough for now. We're going to get this monster in here for now. We need, this is what we need for travelling around between systems. I think it's an even shape, isn't it? It is. So let's oh my god, it's so freaking huge. Come in like this and you'll see it like that. What a beast. And then we could put the Jenny's in here as well? No? Have I got... Hold on a second, let's get the symmetry on. So if I'm doing it like that, I am committing to how tall the back of the ship will be. And I feel that's a little too tall. So if we instead put the jennies back here, like this. And then we can lay this thing down. Like that. I'd expect to come in here and have I'm going to expect to have some, like, a little bit of space between us and it. We don't want to be next to this thing because it's bloody stinking with radioactivity, but I don't want to reduce it any more than that. We'll do that for now. 2 spaces. Yeah. And we want... we only want 1 pentaxid tank. We don't need more than that. And this thing has... is that the range on here? You can do 24 AUs across a system, or you can do 30 light years. This is the smaller version of the warp drive for the... so we can easily do the distance we need to do as far as the quest is asking. The quests are asking for it. This thing... where should we stick this? Doesn't really matter for now, does it, I guess? We'll put it over here. Might go somewhere else later. But it'll do going for there for now. Like these things, we can rotate these around as well. I seriously doubt they're going to stay there. Like that. Yeah. Maybe we'll even bring them to the side a little bit more. And we'll bunch the back in them, but the point again doesn't really matter right now. That is not what we're trying to do at the moment. Map out the parts. Okay, well, how's our... you can see the size of the goddamn thing already. We potentially don't need to be as wide as this, I know, but we'll... okay, so you can probably look at this and go, that's a bit of a big space in the middle. What you could do is maybe move this here and have that over there. What I'm considering though is that for now is you can see we're going to take this. We're going to take it this wide at the back anyway. We can make it a little bit narrower, but not much very easily. It's going to be wide, whatever's going to happen. You could put this over this side and that on that side, but what I'd like to have is probably ramps up and down here, so that if this was landed on the ground, you could imagine this thing driving to the edge, off the edge, and away, but it wouldn't matter which one. When it returned, it could return from this side, or it could return from this side and get back up into the bay again. If I have these two things next to each other, I'm limiting my space a little bit, and I always do that sort of thing. I always like restrict my space too much, and I shouldn't. And this thing might well get bigger as well, is what I'm thinking about. If I try to turn this into more of a tank and put more weapons on it, it's going to get wider. So I'm going to stay with this space for now and not reduce it too much. Okay? Is my plan. Also, I've got other things to build on here as well. Also, by the way, I could, of course, put this above everything else. So I considered that many times in my plans as well. Having a smaller garage down here, or a smaller platform down here, and then putting this on a higher level. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be on ground level. But I'm not going to. I think I'm going to go for this for now. Okay. What's going to go here? Well, what I'm thinking is there's a few things we definitely need to put on this ship, or things that I would really like to have on here. And again, I'm not doing the usual thing of like, oh, I must do the RCS now, or I must do that now. I'm trying to be a bit more broken up in my approach about this. We need plant beds. No, they're grow beds, aren't they? That's what they're called. And I need them. We can only use these ones. We can't use wooden ones. We have to use these ones for capital vessels. So the plan is probably making 2 beds, one on each side. Yeah? So you'll come through here, it'll be glassed off, and you'll come through here. And then after that, we'll have another area. And what are we missing? What else is necessary on a ship? Well, we need. We might make it a bit more open at the front here, and I would also like to slowly reduce the size of the ship in. It's not going to be square all the way back, is it? We're going to narrow it in towards the front, but we'll do that when we get to it. We need a medical area, and we need. We don't actually need other bits and pieces. We need medical back at the front certainly. So what I could do is I could just put in. How big is it going to be back here at the front here? Let's just throw some things in to remind us what needs to be going at this end. We'll put in some medical devices. We'll just put in one of these. Reminds me what's going to go there. A medical device, and then we don't need 2 of them. And then what else in there? Things like a food processor needs to go at the front somewhere as well on here. That can go over there instead. And then maybe shower units and that kind of thing. Okay. Otherwise, this is the front of the ship. Right. And then you've been looking at these elevators and going, why are you doing that, sir? Well, it's quite easy. Actually, do I make it go any higher than that? I might do. I don't know. I might go 1 higher than that. I'm feeling in the mood to do it. I'm going to do it. Here we go. Right. This central area here is going to be open to space. I'm not going to seal it in. Now, this is something I've thought about for a long time. You can get big doors that will fit in here, certainly, and seal it all off. But this is part of the plan that I saw from, and I'm deliberately not looking at it because I don't want to crib anything else from it. This other design I saw in the ages ago in the blueprint models, where you have a central area that's open and there's no cover over it, no oxygen from here. So that's fine. It doesn't matter that you've got no oxygen coming in or anything like that. It's fine. You've got an oxygen unit here and here, and one over this side. And to get between the two, I'm going to build a corridor that will allow you to do this across here. And in fact, this is also, I'll probably make it wider than this actually. I'll probably make it more like effectively this wide. Yeah. And in fact, up here is where the bridge is going to be. Okay. So I'm envisioning an area up top, not a very big area, but an area up here where You'll go up one more elevator. Is this a centre, by the way? I haven't even counted this. That'd be terrible if it's not centred. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Balls. Oh no. Let's count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Buggerations. Do we make it wider or narrower? Probably wider. Okay, and other key things that we need a now cockpits don't exist for in CVs, not in the same way as they do either. You can't have a little cockpit, you can have a little command chair, which is kind of fun. I'm probably going to imagine something like this for now. We're just going to stick this in here, so we've got control over the ship. Oh, look at the size of it. Over the whole ship from here, yeah. And then we need, RCS, and we can probably, I don't know actually how many of these we need. We'll put a load in for now, but we've got another consideration here to do with movement, which is thrusters. I'm going to stick some on the back. That's what we'll do for the thrusters. Now, throw thrusters and medium thrusters. This, okay, I don't think I can build large thrusters right now. They have a number of key required elements like Exosium and Elestrum that I have some of, and we found some recently. We found we can potentially source it from the last world we went to in Survival, where they blew off the front half of my ship, but I'm not sure I'm going to reliably be able to get the materials from there to do this. So I'm going to go minimalist for now, and we can easily upscale to bigger engines later. Yeah, we're going to put medium ones on here, and we're not going to put any on the sides or on the top. That's right. You heard me. They weren't looking at me like that. Fill this baby up. Way over the CPU, but that's fine. We'll worry about that in a minute. So, there is not a docked ship in your ship. Flying not possible.